G'day guys, my name is CJ. Now if you know this channel, then you know I love doing gear reviews, with one of my favorite components in my gear being the good old bag. One of my favorites, even right now, is the tried and tested PRVKE by Wandrd, an award-winning design that's recently had a bit of an update. This guy is the PRVKE 31 version 2. Let's see what's new. So the PRVKE is one of these backpacks that sits in the category prioritizing both form and function. No compromises. For competition, think Peak Design's everyday backpack, one of the biggest names in the category, and you'll have an idea of what these PRVKEs are up against. This one is the PRVKE 31, which stands for 31 liters because, well, it's got 31 liters of storage. That can be expanded up to 36 liters thanks to the roll top. It used to be the big brother of the line, but in addition to the model update, Wandrd have also released an even bigger boy called the 41, and you can bet you'll see a video of that soon too. So hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications to not miss that video. But for me, the best part of these bags is that you look at it and it doesn't scream camera bag. And that's one of the biggest reasons I bought into the PRVKE line right from the start. And I mean it. I've owned this original PRVKE 21 right from its inception on Kickstarter, and I did a review on it way back in 2016. So check out that video because the main features haven't really changed from back then, but maybe also for old time's sake to see what a difference 4 years makes, other than just me getting old. In any case, since then it's been solid as a rock, but there were a few quirks that hopefully have been resolved this time round. So what's changed? Let's first start with the outside. The bag itself looks almost identical to the original PRVKE 31, and aside from a few subtle dimensional differences, if you put them side by side, you'd largely think they were the same bag. They've got the same roll top design, they've got the same clip that holds it secure, and the overall structure and how it stores items is pretty much the same too. You've still got the same large front pocket, the same side security key pocket, you've got the same fleece line top pocket for things like your glasses or phone, you've got the camera side access flap, you've got a bottle holder, tripod straps on the side, and of course the magnetic top handle as well. On top of that, the colors on offer are pretty much the same as well. You've got the black, blue, and the one I've got here is Wassertech green, which I really like the look of. It's kind of like a dark, faded army green sort of color, and it's really nice. It's got the same level of water resistance too, so it's gonna be absolutely fine if you're caught out in the rain, if you like pina coladas, and your gear is gonna be absolutely fine. So yeah, on the surface, it all looks pretty similar, but they've definitely made some improvements. And to see these though, you do have to look a little closer, and of course you have to look inside. But even before going inside, the first difference you're gonna see is that there's been a slight tweak to the pull tab design of the zipper, at least in the main compartment. So now they've got this U-puller design, which makes it a bit easier to grip with your fingers, and of course easier to pull. Then on the back, you've got a new optimized foam design for the back as well. They have bigger cushions, and they sit a little deeper compared to the older versions with some perforations too. So theoretically, it should be more comfortable to wear and still provide really decent ventilation, so you're not going to be getting too sweaty on those longer periods. And on first impressions, it does feel pretty nice, but we'll have to see if it remains that way for those longer days and for prolonged use. Now on top of that, the shoulder straps are about 1 centimeter slimmer compared to the old ones, and they have a perforated design with an updated sternum strap too, which clicks into place and is a bit easier to use. But then one thing that is gone are those old lens cap holders, this sort of elastic feature, which I'm not sure too many people used anyway. Then on the top, there's a new design flare with the top handles with the words "Worry less, wander more," which is pretty cool. And the magnets are meant to be a bit stronger too, which, I mean, yeah, it's pretty subtle, but I think they are. Maybe. Nah, I think they are. And on top of that, one of my favorite additions to the new versions is that they finally got a luggage pass-through on the back. Finally, so it's going to be a lot more convenient to use this with a suitcase. And then finally, the old PRVKE used to have a nice little pocket on the back here to store your passport. In the newer version, there's a much wider version that's hidden behind the pass-through strap, and it can hold your passport and a boarding pass without you really needing to fold the boarding pass. Though with the way things are going with C19, it'll probably still be some time before we'll be using this regularly on an international level. If you're an Aussie like me, then at least domestic or at best travel bubble destinations like New Zealand are still on the cards, and the new Provoke is going to be a bit more convenient to lug around. Now the Provoke is a clamshell style backpack, opening up to reveal the guts of the bag. And it's here you can actually tell if you've got the updated version by observing the newly designed laptop sleeve with extra storage. You can still store up to a 16-inch MacBook Pro and a 12.9-inch iPad Pro if you want, but in addition to those, there's 3 different pockets to store other items too, like batteries, SD cards, adapters, SSDs, etc., which I think is a much more space-optimized design. It's a bit more useful. I've actually got a couple of Mavic batteries in there just to show how much space there actually is. Now the next thing you'll notice is that there's no zippable flap covering the camera cube anymore. The old model had one, presumably so it could be used as a normal backpack when not in camera mode, and maybe for a little bit of extra security. But practically speaking, it was just another unnecessary step to access your gear. I mean, most clamshell camera backpacks don't really have that extra flap either. So now that it's gone, it just makes using the Provoke just that little bit more efficient, especially for what it's built for, and that is to be used as a camera bag. And because the sizing is effectively the same as the previous model, the new Provoke line uses the exact same high quality storage cubes and dividers introduced back in 2019, instead of the original cube back in 2016, which had pretty thin and flimsy dividers, and the cube itself overall wasn't a great product. Now you've got options for the Essential Cube or the Pro Cube with varying levels of storage space for lenses, bodies, and drones. And the best part is, these cubes are removable so you can organize everything first before shoving it in. And yeah, it can be a little bit of a faff getting it in, but honestly, it's actually not too bad. Now I've got the Pro Cube here, and whilst you have to play around with it to fit your own stuff, I've been able to comfortably fit my X-T3, not seen here because I'm using it to shoot this video. You've got a large 50-140 f2.8, which is comparable to the big boy 70-200 of the full frame world, 3 extra primes, and also space for my trusty old Mavic Pro, which by DJI standards these days is pretty hefty. So whilst it's not specifically unique to these new Provokes, the cubes are a pretty versatile storage system. Now the other thing is that the top half is also slightly tweaked too, with the flap and zipper now flipped upside down and being an easy pull design, which again makes it a bit more efficient to use to get access. And instead of a mesh design, it's now completely blacked out thanks to it being integrated with that top pocket, which also adds a little bit of extra padding to protect your everyday day-to-day items or extra lenses if you've organized them that way. And that's pretty much it really. As the old saying goes, don't fix it if it ain't broke, and certainly Wandrd looks to have stayed true to what made their initial bags great and simply refined the formula. The fit and finish is just that little bit tighter, and where they could have improved things, well, they certainly did, with things like space optimization, ergonomics, and access. Time will tell to see whether or not these new versions will live up to its name. The Provoke 31 starts at $219 US or about 280 Australian dollars without the camera cube and accessories. Fully decked out like this one, it can cost up to $330 US or 430 Australian dollars, so it can add up. But these are premium quality bags, and having looked at all these updates and what it's like now, I think they're onto a winning formula. So if you've been eyeing off a Provoke, well, there's never been a better time to pull the trigger. But what do you think? Will these updates make you consider the Provoke? Let me know in the comments section below. Hit me up on the socials too. Let's connect. I'd love to hear from you. I've got new content coming up for the 2 new siblings to the Provoke lineup with the Provoke Lite and the Provoke 41, so be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out. Thanks so much for watching the video. Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. As always, stay safe and say good day to mum for me. Cheers.